probably heard the phrase, once you're on medication, you're on it for life. It's such a common message in the medical world that most people don't even question it anymore. But I want to challenge that idea. Today I want to tell you a story, a true story, about one of my patients who got off not one, not two, but 3 medications in just 30 days. I'll change her name to protect the innocent. Let's call her Zahra. And I think her story is going to change the way you think about healing. Zahra is 52 years old. She's a mother, a grandmother, a caregiver, and the spiritual anchor in her family. She's also an American Indian woman with a Muslim faith background. Her life is centered around tradition, her home, her dress, her food, and her values. Every morning she starts with chai and prayer. Every evening ends with a warm home-cooked meal, usually rice, lentils, and roti, just like her mother made when she was growing up. But underneath the comfort of tradition was something that had become all too common: disease. Zahra was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, then high blood pressure, and eventually depression. 3 conditions, 3 prescriptions: metformin for the blood sugar, lisinopril for the blood pressure, and a low-dose SSRI for her mood. She was told the same thing most of my patients hear: these are lifelong conditions. We'll manage them. But Zahra wasn't feeling managed. She felt like a shell of herself. She was tired, foggy, and her joints ached. Her sleep was broken. Her memory was slipping. And even though she prayed, even though she cooked, even though she did everything her doctors told her, something inside her kept whispering, there has to be another way. One day, her daughter sent her one of my YouTube videos. It was called How to Adopt a Low-Carb Diet. The daughter didn't say much, just sent the link with a text that said, "Mama, just watch this." And Zahra did. She watched the whole thing twice. Her daughter then gave her my book entitled Fix Your Diet, Fix Your Diabetes. And once she read it, she cried, not because of the science, not even because of the stories. She cried because for the first time in a long time, someone was telling her she wasn't broken. She was misguided, and that her body might actually be capable of healing. If only someone could help her find the root cause. That's when she reached out to me. At her first appointment, she was nervous. She said, "Doctor, I was raised to believe that meat was dangerous, that fat would clog my arteries, that I needed to eat whole grains and beans to be healthy. But I don't feel healthy. I feel like I'm surviving, not living." So we started with education. We talked about insulin resistance. We talked about how fat doesn't make you fat, but carbs and insulin can. We talked about how cholesterol isn't the villain. It's actually the raw material your body uses to make hormones, repair cells, and regulate mood. She looked at me with wide eyes and said, "No one ever told me that before." And then I said, "Zahra, I don't want to tell you what to eat. I want to partner with you to find out what actually makes you feel better. Let's do a 30-day experiment. No commitments beyond that. Just 30 days. We'll adjust your food. We'll track your symptoms. And we'll monitor your medications very carefully." She agreed. Now here's what we did. We transitioned from a high-carb, plant-based diet to a low-carb, ketogenic diet. That meant more healthy fats, like ghee and olive oil. More protein, like eggs, chicken, and fish. We kept everything culturally respectful. We even timed her meals to align with her spiritual fasting schedule. And yes, we reduced processed carbs dramatically. No more rice, no more lentils, no more roti. That was hard. The first 2 weeks, brutal. Zahra felt sick. Her body was detoxing from sugar and starch. She had nausea, headaches, mood swings. Her family was confused. "Why are you skipping your rice?" Her mother said she was betraying tradition. Her son said, "Mom, you're going to starve yourself." She almost gave up. But on day 13, something shifted. She woke up and felt lighter. Her joints didn't ache. Her head was clear. Her energy was back. She took her fasting glucose and it was 88. She hadn't seen a number under 100 in over a decade. She called me that morning, crying again. "Doctor," she said, "I think this is working." By the end of 30 days, Zahra had, under medical supervision and safely, discontinued all 3 medicines. Her fasting insulin had dropped. Her blood pressure was consistently normal. Her mood had stabilized. Her brain fog was gone. Her sleep was deep and restorative. She wasn't just living, she was thriving. But the biggest change, it wasn't in her labs. It was in her identity. She said, I used to think I was sick because I was old, or because my mom had diabetes too. But now I see. I was just eating the wrong fuel. Now let's pause for a second, because I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, but I'm a vegetarian for religious reasons. I'm Hindu and I can't eat meat. Is there any hope for me? Absolutely. While it's true that reversing metabolic conditions can often be easier on an animal-based diet, it's not the only way. You can do a low-carb, plant-based version of this lifestyle. It takes more planning, it takes more education, but it's possible. And if that's your path, you don't have to walk alone. In fact, I interviewed a remarkable endocrinologist from India, Dr. Roshani Sanghani, who specializes in helping her patients reverse diabetes and obesity using low-carb vegetarian strategies. We talked about how food truly is medicine. That episode is called An Endocrinologist Who Believes That Food is the Best Medicine, episode 178. It's linked at the end of this video. And I strongly encourage you to check it out if you're navigating these changes while honoring your faith. I'll also link you to her YouTube channel in the video comments and description. Now back to Zahra. Her healing didn't end at day 30. She kept going. She taught her daughter how to make cauliflower rice with curry. Her son started walking with her after dinner. Her husband, the quiet, skeptical one, started eating her new meals without complaint. And one day she told me, Doctor, I think my family is changing too. Not because I forced them, but because they saw me change. That's what this work is really about. It's not just about weight loss or blood sugar or a medication list. It's about reclaiming power. It's about realizing that your diagnosis is not your destiny. Now, I'm not saying that everyone can get off all their medicines. There are genetic conditions, structural issues, mental health challenges, and other complexities that sometimes require ongoing support. But I am saying this: we need to stop assuming that every illness is chronic and progressive. We need to stop telling people to manage disease instead of aiming to reverse it. We need to start asking why people got sick in the first place so we can help them get well again. We live in a system that's really good at disease maintenance, but not great at true healing. And that has to change. So if you're watching this and thinking, maybe there's still hope for me, I want you to know, yes, there is. Whether you're on one medication or 10, whether you're 35 or 75, whether you're carnivore, keto, or vegetarian, the root cause still matters. And when you treat the root, the branches heal. Zahra didn't do anything extreme. She just made food choices that honored her body. She trusted the process. She worked with her care team, and she believed that healing was possible. And it is. So if you found value in this story, and it gave you a spark of hope, I want to invite you to do 3 things right now. First, watch my interview with Dr. Roshani Sanghani, especially if you're navigating dietary changes with a plant-based lifestyle. Second, check the video description below for links to my video playlist and my low-carb handout telling you which foods to eat and which ones to avoid. And thirdly, share this video with someone you love. Someone who's been told they'll be on meds for life. Someone who's afraid to hope. Someone who's ready to believe again. Because if Zahra can do it, so can you.